On today's video, we're going to talk about the 2512. It's not a new shock for us. We've had it for a few years, but it may be new to you. In this video, we're going to discuss how it's built, the purpose of it, and how it can change your racing program in 2025. More on that when we get back. The 2512. It's not a new shock for us. We've had it for a few years, but it has unique characteristics. How can that benefit your racing program? And how can it make a difference in 2025? We're going to cover that. But first, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all the fun stuff. Let's grow this channel and let's keep teaching people. The 2512, as you've seen, this is a dual zone shock. And what do I mean by dual zone? It has two different bleed zones. Now, in this particular shock, we have reduced the rebound in the rebound zone. So basically, up here, it has a free bleed zone, and down here, it has a rebound zone. So when you're in the rebound zone, that would be like when you're turning the car through the corner, and then it'll pull into the free bleed zone when you accelerate off corner. 2512, is it legal? Yes, it is a legal shock, and every class that can run a bulb. So if you can run a bulb in a stock car, a modified, a street stock, whatever class you're in, then it's legal. We also have a different version, and we do the left rears a little different because of how they're constructed. But in a 10 series, we can also do this in a 10 series shock, in the front only. And currently in the 2512, we are only doing the fronts at this time. So don't come up with 20 different ways to construct this. This is what we're doing. This is the purpose of it, and it works very, very, very well. The 2512 is a dual zone or a dual bleed shock, which means that we can put the bleed in there anywhere we want. Mainly what we do is we put the bleed in there at about 2 inches, somewhere between 2 inches and 1.5 inches below ride height, center to center. So the things we are going to need to know is the size of the racetrack you race at, how much acceleration that racetrack has on exit, your center to center measurement at ride height, and how much spring rate you're running. Now, with this particular shock, you may not have to run as low of a ride height as maybe you've currently been doing. A lot of guys' ride heights has become very low because they're compensating for the lack of workable rebound in their shock program. But with this shock, you don't have to have the balance in the car between rebound, spring rate, and drive because we don't have to balance it because it's going to work its way back to the left rear. As many things I say, this goes against our normal form of function. But this is what most people want. They want a shock that will produce left rear. They really do. But that's in a typical shock, it just does not happen. Having left rear is, as I've said many, many times, and if you watch some of our just previous videos, the bite zone, and I'll put a card in there and a link below. But if you've watched that video, we're not promoting a ton of left rear in a car because of the issues that brings to the car. Watch the videos to better understand that. But this shock allows you to bridge that gap much, much easier. So if you're confused or if you're struggling at getting balance in your car, or if you just don't understand what balance in a race car is, the shock will help minimize that process. It'll bring turnability and drive right together very well. So as you see on this dyno chart here, We have two zones. The first zone is the rebound zone, where the rebound is very big and it doesn't have to be tuned so much to your spring loads or your car's ability to transfer weight. It doesn't have to be tuned so much. Um, and then you have the second zone, which is the free zone, which or has more bleed. So in the free zone, it'll transfer weight in the front of the car to the rear tires, allowing the car to accelerate. So timing in this shock is what's going to be important. Getting the car off the corner, the shock will allow. This may make up for some lack of speed that you currently have in the car or that you're showing in the car. So if you're saying, hey, I need a couple of tenths, I need 3/10 to run with the leaders, this may very well be that piece for you. Currently, we're building it in a 7-inch stroke only, and we're advertising it in a 15 series, but we're only building it currently in a 25. We do build the 15 series. I'm not particularly liking everything that we got going on there currently with how the shock performs in the very down position. So if you got it buried, really buried, um, it pushes back. It's creating. It's running really hard. It's running really hard on the gas, on the divider piston part of the shock, and I don't like it. We're going to change it, but before we change it, I want to see some popularity in this. So, like I said, if you're running a stock car, an A mod, street stock, super stock, anything that will allow a bulb shock, this is legal. Now, pay attention, hobby stock guys. I should have said that right at the first of the video, that we can do the same thing in a hobby stock. And we're doing that in a hobby stock. Okay, so you hobby stock guys, you want to take a look at this technology because it will help figure that car is very hard to get balanced because there's no weight jack bolts. There's no lead in an IMCA car. In other parts of the country, you have lead, and then in other parts of the country, you can also put a spring cup in, which will allow you to tune the car a little bit. But in an IMCA world where you have nothing, this type of shock, and it would be a 1012, is very, very, very good. And in that case, it's the bypass is in the tube. This particular shock is constructed of a twin tube type configuration where we have an inner tube and an outer tube. And hence the 12 part of this, it uses our 12 series technology to produce the tie down. So we're on an 1.5-inch bore, and we've mastered that very, very well. And it also allows us to put the release zone anywhere within the stroke. Like I said, it works very, very well. When we do a bypass in the rear, we're actually putting it in the tube, and it's not a twin tube shock. In a 10 series, it's not a twin tube shock. We're putting it in the tube, so it limits the position. But in a 10 series where it's about 4.5, 5-inch stroke, we can cover half the stroke. So ride heights and that is not as critical in that because it's going to be where it's going to be. But in this, we do need the synaptics of the car. We need to know the ride height. We need to know the center to center, the spring rate, and the type of track you're racing on. And this allows us to position this so it will benefit you the most. You can fine tune this a little bit with ride heights by just moving the front of the car up and down when it will release. But the 2512, as I said, it's not a new shock. It's not a new piece. And these are not the most popular videos. I get that. This is not what you guys want to see. But you do need to watch this video because this can change the way you race. In today's world, with all the stuff that's going on and all the setup techniques, this one piece will change things dramatically for you. the 2512. Check it out. It's on our websites, bsbgofast.com. I'll put a link below. Check it out. It's very good. We do have some other videos with shocks that we talk about the 2512, but the 25 is a dual bleed zone shock that we can put the bleed or the engagement point anywhere you want. Okay, check it out, guys. As you see, it holds itself in rebound, and then it'll work its way up to a release zone. That release zone will put left rear in your car, and that'll put drive in your car. And that's what most people are wanting, the best of both worlds. Something that will turn your race car and something that'll allow it to have drive. 2512. Call us and we'll get you hooked up today. Remember, go fast, go left. God bless you, and we'll see you the next time.